Hello, folks. I am back with another firearms review, and I just disregarded that whole opening the box thing because that gets a little redundant at times. But in front of you, you see there a Sig Sauer 1911 TacOps. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, oh boy, this guy has another 1911. But yes, it's a 1911, but it is a 10 millimeter version, and this is my first 10 millimeter. Several uh, when I first started my YouTube channel, I did a video called about 10 millimeters, and I didn't even own a 10 millimeter, so I caught a lot of flack for that. But it wasn't. It was basically talking about what was to come because I was anticipating the Springfield Armory 10 millimeters, and then the debacle happened, and that was delayed. But instead, I decided to wait a while, and I looked at various prices for 10 millimeters lately, and they're supposed to be coming back. And I stumbled upon this one. I really wanted a different 10 millimeter, but uh, that price was a little bit outrageous. I looked at two of them. So this came out at a very good price. This was a sale price, and I made out pretty well. So let me get to the specs about this. As you know, it is in 10 millimeter, and it has a stainless steel frame. And if you notice that the frame has the Picatinny rail, the 1913 Picatinny rail. This is actually a real one. And this stainless steel frame has a nitron finish. As you notice, there's the front checkering, which is 25 lines per inch checkering, as well as you see the back checkering also. Also with this, there's a stainless steel slide, also with with the nitron finish on it. And let me take the magazine out. I didn't show clear. I didn't want anybody to get upset as usual, and it is clear. Uh, and what you will also see on this, you'll see that it is a 5-inch 5-inch in barrel length. Now it's 5-inch in barrel length for the 10 millimeter. On the 45 ACP is 5.6 inches in barrel length. That's if you are counting. So yeah, 5-inch barrel length. Of course, I like that little lockup thing that they always show right here. It's pretty is like that because it helps with the everything with the bushing and the slide locking up. And also the overall width is going to be 1.4 inches. And also with the height, it's going to be roughly about 5.5 inches. And the weight, it's a little hefty, but I don't mind it. It helps with mitigating recoil. But the weight is going to be 41.6 ounces. Just to go over it, I did mention about the Picatinny rail and the front checkering. What I like is the slide stop is a little longer than the average 1911 that are standard. Also, if you look around closely here, it has 6 proprietary hammer. A lot of people don't like these hammers because they believe it's a part. So the dealer I was talking to, he says he automatically with his SIGs he changes it out to a different type of skeletonized hammer, but that doesn't bother me, so I'm not going to change it. As usual, you will know that this is with the SIGs, they have their own external extractor here. Their external extractors there. A lot of people that are 1911 enthusiasts or purists do not like the external, they like the internal, but to me it doesn't make a difference. As you see, if I can get this show you where the extractor is right there. And it does have a feed ramp integrated in the barrel. Now, unfortunately, my lighting is pretty bad today, and I'm trying to focus in on it. Unfortunately, it's not going to come into focus. I don't know what that's about. Okay, we're back on focus. But yes, the barrel inside here, there's a ramp in here. It is dirty. That's the other problem because I did shoot this firearm earlier today. So I'm just getting back from the range. And unfortunately, the lighting is so horrible. But if you see that little glint, that is actually the ramp. And I'm sorry that you can't see that. But yes, it has its own ramp on the barrel, similar to like a Glock or any other like firearm like a striker fire, but it does have that ramp there. Um, the safeties, the safety I like because it's not oversized safety. It's very minimalistic, and since it's very minimalistic, it's not oversized where you might snag it on something. Uh, some people like the larger size safeties so they can get their thumb over there up high and have that higher grip, and also to keep that uh, thumbs forward position. Uh, the grips here, these grips, I thought about changing these grips out to something like a lock grip, but I don't think I'm gonna do that because these grips really feel very good. The only reason to change these grips out is because if you like a certain look to the firearm, but I'm usually a minimalist, so I really like the way these grips feel, and it has a good texture, even though it's going in a slant pattern as you see. So it's a really good. It gives you a really good purchase, and uh, these grips are made of polymer. That's what they call it on the website, as well as if you look at the bottom, this is the magwell. This is a steel magwell, and and a lot of 1911 companies they'll sell 1911s with just uh, just the flat area here without a magwell, but with the TacOps version, it does come with the magwell, which is a very good plus because usually what I do is if I buy a 1911, I might buy those little cheap magwell type extension things from Wilson Combat. So that covers that, so there's no extra cost there. And speaking about extra costs, uh, if you're familiar with the P226 TacOps, you know it comes with 4 magazines. Well, they've done the same thing with the TacOps in the 1911 version, and it comes with 4 8-round magazines. And I want to tell you, these magazines work flawless. There were no malfunctions. I put over 200 rounds in this firearm and I had no issues. So these magazines work perfectly well. Unfortunately, with some companies, the magazines don't really work that well, so you have to go into a Wilson Combat magazine. And it's pretty neat that they give you 4 because uh, you might have to sometimes order a 10 millimeter magazine because they're not as plentiful as regular 45 ACP magazines. And another thing, like there's another company, uh, I give you an example like Kimber or let's say Springfield Armory. What they'll give you a magazine that has that flat plate. What I don't like about the flat plate is when you insert the magazine, and I'm talking about if you don't have a magwell extension on here, you slap that in, you end up pinching your hand in there and causing a cut on your hand, and bleeding and so forth. But with these, and I don't understand. I got a KHX from Kimber, even though they included the base pads. Just imagine this without the base pad going into a magwell, and I don't understand that. That's an ugly and stupid look. So SIG got it right the first time. All they do is give you the magazines with the base pads attached to it, so you don't have to do anything else. Uh, Outside of that, this does have the Novak style sights. Now, a lot of people don't like the Novak sights, like I previously stated in other videos, that there's no ledge for racking off the side. This particularly firearm is basically going to be pretty much a target firearm for me, for the range. But if you're using this in a practical application, I don't think there should be any problem unless you really are going to get unless you really unfortunately get wounded. You might have to improvise and just. I was taught that you can put this between your knees and rack the slide that way, or whatever the case may be. Also, it also with us with the SIG is uh, they are a force to be reckoned with other specialized 1911 companies. And that when I mean specialized, I mean like companies like Springfield Armory and possibly even Kimber, because the thing about them is they for this company to be involved, have their hands dipped into so many different products. They did very well with their 1911s, and I'm really like that. Some of their firearms, as you notice on here, uh, the SIG is differentiated by the square look on the top of the slide. You'll see that line here, and you'll see that line here, and it's kind of like squared off. It's not really that bad. There are holsters out there for it. When you do have a Picatinny rail, you do have to do a little bit of digging to find the right holster for it. But they do pretty well. SIG's company that they deal with for their holsters is called Black Point Holsters, and they have them for all their SIG line. Let me get straight over to some targets, and this shot very well. Like I said, there were no malfunctions whatsoever, over 200 rounds. Like I said, no, the sighting I got used to really quickly. I'm so used to shooting 45s, but this is like I said, this is my first 10 millimeter firearm. Okay, now going to, let's say, my first target here. My first target with this is, I was just feeling around to see where I was going to get my point of aim at. Of course, over on the side, this is something I'm working on, so it won't go into the lower left. So that's just all me. And I was just getting a feel. This is roughly about 7 yards. And this right here, again, is roughly at 7 yards. I'm still trying to get a feel on tack driving like I like to do. The other target here, now I'm hitting high left, but I sent this at a distance of 10 yards, somewhere between 10 and 12 yards. So, and I'm also firing at a rapid pace on this one. So I was trying to get comfortable. As you see, I did shoot too low on this target. When I was aiming up high, I shot too low here, and you could tell I went off track. It would started to, but I got myself back centered and got it into the bullseye. Somewhat what I would like to do. And the last target is, as you see, I'm still drifting a little bit toward the low left, but it's still, I have a nice group over there. This is me playing around anywhere between, I would say, 12 and 15 yards. When I thought I was going too far off, I brought the target back in at 12 yards, because the 15, I think I was going too high. But, and this was a grip issue. I just threw that just totally off. But we all know the history about what went on with the 10 millimeter, how it came to prominence. So I'm not going to bore you with that history lesson from what happened in the early 80s. But yes, this 10 millimeter is something I always wanted, because I was looking at the Delta Elite. That was one of the first 10 millimeters that I kind of fell in love with. But I finally got this 10 millimeter after all those years, and it does not disappoint. Again, like I said, this does come in 45 ACP. It also, they have threaded barrel designs for this, so you can either order this with a threaded barrel, or you can go to the Sauer website and get the threaded barrel if that's what you want. But it's a really good bargain. You like I said, with SIG, you gotta hunt around Look for bargains with them because a lot of times they discontinue things. This, thank goodness, is not discontinued. It's still available out there. And that's all I have to say on this. It's a very good shooter. I'm very happy that I have it. And it's going to be one of those firearms I'm going to shoot a lot. So, with that said, happy shooting. Stay safe. Hashtag 2A.